Onwards and upwards, guys. It's time for our next thing. We already talked about Google Forms and how it's the interactive form development software, and we gave you a basic idea of how you could use it as a formative assessment tool. You could also use it for surveys. You could use it for classroom introductions. There's even a fun tool out there that you can do where you can use multiple pages. You could turn it into a create your own ending novel, which would be an awesome project in maybe a 7th grade or 8th grade English class at the end of the year. Would be for the students to write their own novels and then build it in Google Forms so that whoever takes it gets their own version of the story. The other one that we're going to look at now, though, is Google Sites. Google Sites is the web software, the website creation tool. For those of you who have worked with website creation before, you know it is not very easy. There are a number of different languages that you need to know in order to code. You need to know HTML and CSS and JavaScript and all sorts of different ones. But this kind of takes all of that and puts it together. The key here is integration. So let's go ahead and take a peek at how to make a Google site. Let's go back to Google Drive, our hub for everything. And I want to just kind of show you my example website. I think it'll be easier this way. In order to open it, all you would have to do would be just click on the New button right here and select More and select a Google site, and you can create your own site. I'm going to go to mine. Now, you've already seen I've put a picture on there of Reynolds. I've got my example website up there, and we're going to kind of talk through some of the different components. First off is picking a theme. There are a number of different themes that you can choose from. Mine, the one that I chose, is called Aristotle. You can pick Simple, Diplomat, Vision, Level, Impression, whichever one that you want. You can also pick a font style. Okay, modern, classic, bold. The options are a little bit more limited here, and that's because it takes so much time in order to code all of these different things to be able to use them in your Google website. But this is perfect for communicating with parents, for making something for your students to use. Could you imagine every student having to make their own website and then using that information to share information with the rest of the class? You could also use it as a tool for your students to engage with you, okay? And this kind of works similar to how we'll use Google Classroom. And for those of you who have already looked into that today during the morning session, you'll understand how that works. For those of you who have had the opportunity to mess around with it before you watch these videos, you too will have that same opportunity. The next thing that we can talk about is how to insert media into this component. Okay, well, we can insert text boxes. That's fairly simple, like the one that you see here. We can insert images. Okay, and we can do that by searching a URL, by doing a search, by looking through my own albums, by going to Google Drive and looking for the image there. Okay. We can also add in different components that we might want to use. We might want to put in a divider to divide up our page, okay, to segment different resources and things along those lines. You could add in a YouTube video. You could add in a Google Calendar. You could add in a map, okay. You could add in any of these docs, okay. And let's look at what that sort of looks like when you get to some of these different pages. Resources. This was example page that I made inside of here. Okay, I'm going to go to my pages menu, and you can see that it's going to give me a table of contents of everything that is on my site. Okay, it's also called a site map. And here I have some resources that we would maybe regularly use in a class if I was teaching it. We definitely use Google Drive, so I have a link in there. And we'd use The Economist to read articles. We'd use Google Classroom, obviously, so they would need to have access to that. And then there would be the gradebook as well that we would use, okay, so that students could access their online grades, okay. When we use these new pages, we can change the way that things work, okay? Let's take a look I have a divider in here, which is dividing up these two sections. Then I put in a Google Doc. In this case, this was an example syllabus. Excuse me, I was struggling for the word there that I was using. Okay. And then here I have a Google Calendar. Okay. Clearly it says that I'm off school today. That is obviously not true, as I'm here making these lovely videos for you for professional development purposes. So that would need to get updated in my calendar. But you can have multiple calendars in the same feature. You can include them in the view. Okay. So students can have access to them. And you can keep all of your Google calendars, but choose which ones you want to share with your students. So if you have a classroom calendar in your Google Classroom, which is set up with the assignments and what days they were due and things like that, then you could import it here so that they could see it and so parents could see it, more importantly. Okay? When it's all time for me to look and see how everything is going to look for me, I can just go to the preview button. That'll let me see how everything appears on the actual web. Okay. You'll notice that I have two different slide menus. I have the slide menu for the general page, and then I also have this slide menu that'll let me work inside of the actual document, which is pretty cool. It doesn't take up as much space. I can also see what it would look like on a phone, what it would look like on a tablet. This is very different from the way that we use our software currently in our website. Notice that when I go to using a mobile device, now I cannot scan through, okay? I can only open it. And it'll automatically open it in a viewer for them so that they can make their way through it. It'll also let them download it if you offer them that opportunity. Okay? It'll let them expand out the calendar and see what's going on. It'll let them drop down to select things like our home page or our assignments page, okay, where I included a couple of assignments that I wanted them to take. Tablets. Now I get the scroll feature back. Computer. Still have the scroll feature. Okay. Let's exit out of that preview. What if I wanted to add editors? I can share this with other people. Okay. What else can I do? I can look at my site analytics. Okay. Connect your site to Google Analytics in order to look at insights and metrics. If I wanted to, I could look at how many people are coming to my website, how many new views I'm getting on a regular basis. Okay. That's for another day. Could take a tour, could get some help from Google on how to do this. Most importantly, I can publish this. When I'm ready to publish this, all I have to do is I can create a site location. Okay, it'll create a site location for me. Okay. I can request that public search engines not display my results. Okay. And I am set to go. Okay. It's that simple. And I hope that you enjoyed taking a peek at this.